All right, hi, I'm Glen Gayden, and this is Gayden Team Coaching Show. Today we're going to be interviewing one of my great friends, Sloan. She's one of the fastest rising young professionals in the Houston area, has a large team out in the Pearland area, and I've been fortunate enough to have her come on as a partner with me in this coaching program that we're offering. So without further ado, let me get to Chase.
Awesome. Hey, Glen, thank you so much for having me today.
All right, so Chase, give us a little bit of background on you. Tell us the story, how you came to be where you sit now as we are here today.
Awesome. Well, it's funny because it wasn't a lot of thought to it. I got into real estate in 2010, like I said, and before then I was a bartender, and I worked at House of Blues, and I worked in the Galleria Mall. And so I remember at that time, I was coming out of college, so I kind of had a bunch of odds and ends type of jobs. I was like wherever I could make the most bang for my buck. If that was, retail during the week and bartending on the weekend, it was just kind of, I just had time and energy. So that's what I was doing. Around that time, that's kind of when the economy was pretty shaky. So my retail job, I was a top seller there. I was actually like top 5 in the country. And
wow.
They brought us in and they were like, hey, we're going to have to cut y'all's commission. And I was livid because I was like, well, I've been doing what I said I was going to do. I show up and I sell and I produce and everything like that. And it was kind of one of those top-down mandates that it was the first time where I felt frustrated in the sense of like, I can hit all my goals, make sure I make all your money, and then at the end of the day, my check is still at risk over something that I can't control. So that was kind of the beginning of me realizing that working wasn't going to be
cut it, no.
a good fit for me. And then at the same time in my bartending, it was just really flexible. It was just like volatile. I won't say flexible, I'll say volatile, right? You had good seasons, you had great nights, and then you had those days when you're like twiddling your thumbs.
Yeah.
So at that time, a good friend of mine, this was when like $1 Million Listing Agent,
all that
stuff was coming out on TV, and she was like, you could probably do this. You sell T-shirts, you could sell houses, and I was like, I can,
Yeah.
And so I wrote it down. I said I was going to get my real estate license by Christmas or New Year's or something like that, and I just jumped in and I took the classes, and I was like, okay, I'll do this. This seems like a viable option, and so I got into real estate, got my license. I went with like a small boutique brokerage first. And I realized really quickly that I needed training because the type of business that I desired to do and the type of people I desired to work with, I was like, they have money and can get a lawyer. And I don't want to get sued. So
no.
I made a really quick decision to get into alignment with the brokerage company that I'm with now, just Keller Williams. And from there, it just started snowballing. So my first years were a little kind of, they were challenging because I was 26, 27 when I got my real estate license. So most of my friends were like me. They either just come out of college or they were renting or they had bad credit or I didn't have, it's not like I just had the best sphere. They're always like, call your friends and family. Yeah. My friends and family were looking at me like, so I was like, I gotta call other people.
Yeah.
So really quickly I just got into business with, smart people, and I just kept at it. And so after my first year, I feel like I kind of sowed the seeds, and then each year just kind of compounded on that and started doubling up. And here I am almost 10 years later.
10 years later, here you are.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's been pretty good. So, I always say the best people for this industry are people that are already used to working with people. So I think bartenders are great.
Yeah.
Service industry, they're great, right? Like, the person that, like I said, you're talking about the Galleria. I was probably making like $8 an hour plus 30% on whatever I sold. Which I didn't have a lot of responsibility back then, so that wasn't
bad.
Perfect. That was perfect where I was. And I think the myth is that you've got to have this elaborate business plan to get into real estate.
No, one page.
And what I've learned is that you even beyond the page, you just got to have frustration, which mine was working a lot of jobs. I felt like I never was home by sunset because, like I said, I was working in the mall. So during the holidays, I was with the public. The bartenders, we closed at 2 or 3. So then I'd get home, and I felt like my friends would be like, "Oh man, all right, we're gonna go ahead and tip out." And I'd be like, "But I want to play. I want to hang out." You know what I'm saying? And it's actually really when I got really clear about quality of life and just being able to have that counterbalance of being able, like, it's not just enough for me to say, well, I'm making all the money, but I don't get to spend time with my family, I don't get to spend time with my friends, you know. So I think you have to have a big enough pain point to force you to bet on yourself or double down on yourself and go after whatever, whether it's real estate or whatever it is. But you've got to be frustrated enough to where going back there isn't an option.
So what was one of the major reasons for you wanting to get involved in coaching?
So one of the biggest things I think when you have an opportunity to succeed in any field is being able to give back, being able to help those that are coming along the same pathway without having to go through as many challenges or roadblocks. So the opportunity to coach, it was something that I was already passionate about with teaching and training, and this was just the next logical step.
Oh, okay. So next logical step in your career. We hear that term quite a bit.
Absolutely.
So dealing with these coaching clients now, what's the difference between, or where have you noticed the difference in the aspects between buyer and seller, and now working with your coaching clients?
Well, I think in everything you have to educate. It's all about an educator role, whether you're talking about clients buying and selling, or you're talking about agents and how to build a strong, profitable, sustainable business. And so they really just translate over from an educational perspective, except we've got different goals, right? We've got different objectives.
Yeah, exactly. So you have been teaching QL for Keller Williams for quite some time now. Tell us a little bit about that program, and is it going to be offered again anytime soon?
Yeah, so QL is actually very passionate, near and dear to me, because actually before I even got into real estate, one of my goals was to be able to give back. I was blessed to, as an athlete, to have mentors and kind of have people to aspire to, and I knew I wanted to be able to give back to that and give back to young adults. And so I actually took Quantum Leap probably in 2005, somewhere around there, and I just saw how big the course was as far as what you're talking about. And even with coaching, I think it's important that it's not so much that anybody has a secret sauce. It's exposing yourself to the conversations, exposing yourself to a different way of looking at stuff. That's what Quantum Leap taught me. This has now afforded me an opportunity to, especially for younger adults that are in that time or phase in their lives when they're kind of just figuring out what to do, to get in front of there, get them to start thinking about stuff, get purposeful. Like a lot of times I think we just kind of have this 1+1, go to high school, go to college, graduate, and you'll make a bunch of money, and that's not really the world that we live in anymore. And that doesn't apply to everybody. So Quantum Leap allows the opportunity to really get in and get focused about the conversation, expand on the topic, spend time actually like working through the idea in the hopes that it just gives you clarity. Quantum Leap is all about clarity.
So talking about clarity, what was one of the ahas that you had experienced when you first took the course?
And you gotta fund your life. So my instructor, his name was Gene Rivers, and I remember listening to him, and I'm not gonna say significantly older. He's older what I was. And I remember I just started hearing the type of goals that they were making. And so he was setting a goal to buy a home for his children at age 3, so that way they could have it when they turned 18 as a way to build wealth. They had this asset that was appreciating over time. He was doing it every so odd years. He set a goal to buy a house every 2 years. And I just started thinking about money differently.
Wow.
So that's when I really got passionate about investments and trying to understand that. Specifically learning from people that had done it, which I think is really important. You can read about this stuff and it can seem very far off, like, oh, well, that's for them, that's for the person that's on Wall Street, or wealth can just seem like it's not attainable or relatable. And so that was the biggest clarity, is that you do what you do to fund your life, to fund your perfect life, which is how can I live my life passively with enough passive income coming in. So wealth building, I changed my perspective about that, and that's really helped guide most of my decisions now to this day.
Oh, well, good. So you've got some investment projects going on right now. Do you care to share a little bit about what you've got going on, and maybe some of the challenges that you might be coming across?
Yeah, we're buying the block, as they say. So in 2018, I got very intentional. Remember, everything's about clarity and power, so I've been writing about investing and setting goals, and last year I actually set a goal that I wanted to purchase 3 flip properties, and my sister and I went in on it together. It was actually kind of like a family conversation. We had all made a decision that we were going to start measuring our success by our net worth. So we wanted to make sure that the things that we were putting our energy into actually were moving the needle in a way that helped our legacy, our family, and all those different things. So 2018, we started flipping. We flipped our first house. It was out in Humboldt area. What did I learn about stuff? So this was the first time. It was actually a distressed seller, and I had to evict them from the house. And I wasn't really expecting to do that. Like, I don't really like conflict. I'm a Libra. I'd like to keep it as peaceful as possible. And I remember I'm talking to my coach, because I have one as well. And I'm like, okay, so I've got my eviction notice, and I'm going to put it on the door and take a picture of it and do this whole deal. And so what I wasn't coached for was that person would be there. And so not only were they there, they were like in the driveway eating food or something like that. So I'm like walking up, and I didn't realize she was in the car. I just thought, oh, okay, maybe, it just messed up my groove.
I see.
Yeah. Long short, it messed up my groove. And I remember I was like, this is for you. And I handed the paper, and I took off. I called my coach, and I was like, I wasn't expecting her to be here. She was like, well, did you take a picture? Did you get her to sign it? And I was like, no, I didn't do any of that. And she was like, you gotta go back.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh. And and we all ended up getting it resolved. And I think in that moment, it really helped me see that there are just so many aspects to investing, even after you acquire the project. There are real people behind it that need help. Everything comes from a distressed situation.
Yeah.
Right? Every real estate transaction follows a life event. So it really taught me the other side of investing, and I really got passionate about learning the story and helping to honor those stories. And then because I'm a realtor, provide alternatives on kind of like, okay, well, how can we help you, and what makes sense now, so that we can make it a win-win. So it's been a lot of lessons. That's probably the most exciting one so far.
So what's the goal for 2020 as far as investment properties go, coaching clients, and real estate transactions? What kind of noise can we expect out of Miss Chase Sloan coming up?
So everything is definitely measurable. One of the things this year, it was a numeric goal in regards to how many flips we did. We wanted to do 3 to kind of get our feet wet. This time we'll be focusing on our ROI, so making sure our purchases are strategic, that we're not overpaying for the properties and not putting too much into it to rehabilitate them, so that way we can still sell it as a profit. I've got a responsibility to not only my family, investors as well, so making sure that we're getting smarter on what we buy. In regards to coaching clients, we're definitely looking to partner with the motivated people that have skin in the game and that care more about their success than we do. That's something that I definitely learned this year as well in coaching. It's like I said, not a magic pill. So finding like-minded individuals that have that energy, or just that go-get-it factor, that really just need direction and a sounding board, and kind of what would you do?
Yeah.
So that's what our target is with our coaching clients, is just to make sure that we are getting into business with the right ones. And then as far as real estate is, again, just making sure that we're helping as many families as we can, and then expanding our presence outside of not just Pearland, but in the Katy and inner Houston area. So good.
Well, wonderful. Well, Chase, I sure do appreciate the time. Thank you for sitting down with me a little bit here today. Once again, Glen Gayden, Gayden Team Coaching, Chase Sloan. We'll see you soon.
See y'all later.